Your grandma keeps losing her caregivers, and nobody wants to tell you why. Hi, my name is Damilola, and welcome back to Admin Behind the Care, where we talk about the real side of home care that families don't get to care about. And let me tell you something about people in healthcare, right? Okay. Um, they know a lot of things, but they're scared to say it out loud, especially in home care. Some elderly clients are always losing their caregivers, and then they end up saying nobody wants to work anymore. This environment has become so emotionally exhausting for the caregiver when you hear things like that. And now you know that the family member is also involved in a case like that, and you wonder why they quit. These caregivers are already lifting, bathing, cooking, documenting, cleaning, driving, comforting, and while trying to keep the client safe at the same time. Then imagine walking into a home where nothing you do is good enough. Everyone criticizes you and you're being watched like a criminal. If a family member wants to talk down at you, it's okay. The client wants to curse at you, it's okay. And that constant tension from being in a moment like that, from the moment you walk in, do you know what happens? The caregiver is going to quit. They're going to quit. And these aides, they do not stay long, let me tell you. We keep getting different caregivers. Nobody wants to tell us what's going on. It's because of the environment inside your home. And let me say something very important. Being elderly does not mean you have the automatic um, excuse to be verbally abusive to your caregivers. I've seen amazing caregivers cry in the parking lots before their shifts even start. I've seen caregivers who really love their clients, but they're being mistreated. And eventually they get burned out in an environment like that. Then grandma becomes attached to another caregiver and that caregiver leaves too. Now the elderly feels like, they're being abandoned. But do you know why? It's a cycle of heartbreaking news for everybody involved, really. Families that realize that talking to their caregivers respectfully see that, cases like this are toxic and they have to be avoided at all times. Word spreads fast among these caregivers, especially in home care. And suddenly the agency starts to struggle to staff your case at all times. Now, this is a part that nobody wants to hear, and I'll be frank with you. Families treat caregivers like they're beneath them instead of the care team or part of a care team. And your loved one is eating, taking their medication, being safe, and being treated respectfully, but they cannot reciprocate that same respect to the caregiver. Yeah. It goes a very long way in healthcare because if the caregivers who feel like they're respected, they usually stay longer. Meanwhile, the clients who are kind and loving and accept the care that the caregiver is giving to them, they keep longevity. They tend to grow older. Meanwhile, the opposite happens for the clients who treats their caregivers like crap. What does it feel like to work inside this home? Ask yourself this as a caregiver. Sometimes the problem is not, as a client, sorry. Sometimes it's not the shortage, but it's the fact that you don't treat this caregiver as happen. So welcome back to Admin Behind the Care again, where you get the real truth, where you get raw scenarios that happen in home care. You get to keep the guidelines. You get to understand what it feels like to deal with the elderly. Please like and please subscribe. Thank you.